goodness. Yeah. Let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because after news came out last week that the Invictus Games are allegedly trying to get rid of Prince Hazer. And by the way, I totally believe that there's actually now a new update to this total saga. Hazard's longtime mentor has just quit the Invictus charity game situation. But why? Now, all snaps and claps firstly goes to Royal Thoughts at Insightful Watch for sharing this story on X. And they say the following. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's alleged hateful and abusive treatment of others, along with their entitled, attention-seeking behavior at the events, have destroyed the reputation of the Invictus Games. Now Edward Lynn Fox quits. People are completely disgusted and fed up with Harry and Meghan. And here's the article right here from the Daily Mail. They're claiming it as an exclusive. Harry's mentor, Edward Lane Fox, quits Invictus. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, he was said to be Prince Hazard's right-hand man, private secretary for Hazer for 5 years, involved with the Invictus Games right from the start. So why is he all of a sudden just quit? Seems very out of the blue, don't you think? Right, guys. He was said to also be the only friend who could actually help Haza reconcile with his family and return to the UK. And now Edward Lane Fox, the gentleman in question, former captain in the Household Cavalry, is now amongst those that have stepped away from Hazard and in particular the Invictus Games. Now this is the thing, he's not just recently left. No, he left all the way back in February of this year, so like 6-7 months ago, and we're only learning about it now. Why is that? Now, interestingly enough, he leaves on the 28th of February, and that's the exact same day that another gentleman also left the Invictus Games, Patrick Nicol. He was a trustee. And the article goes on to say, since then, another of Hazard's closest supporters, J.J. Chalmers, who was a Royal Marine Reserve and Invictus Games gold medalist, has also left as well. So in not only of a space of a year, like half a year, you've got 3 people that have left the Invictus Games, have left Hazard and the Invictus Games. They've just quit. Because I tell you something, I'm not buying the official reason if that makes sense. And so this article goes on to say, look, it brings to mind the abrupt departures from the board when it came to Centre Barley earlier on this year. And whilst Hazard Megat commenting on the people that have left the Invictus Games over the last 6 months or so. The Invictus source is saying that the trustees had simply moved on as they had served their maximum term, and new financial figures reveal that the charity is in good health, with $3.8 million of income in 2024, up from $2.7 million in 2023. This is the thing, right? For those that don't know, I actually served on a board of a charity years ago. Now, I ended up actually being their honorary treasurer, and it is right that when you serve on a board for a charity, there is like a set term, and then that term runs out. The thing is, though, you can be re-elected for another term, and then another term after that, and then another term after that, right? So for them all just to turn around and be like, yeah, they all left because a term just came to a natural end, and that was it. Yeah, I really don't buy that at all. Especially when Edward Lane Fox, the newest one that we now know has quit Invictus Games, has been with Hazer right from the start of the Invictus Games being created. He, out of all of them, would want to stay on till the end, don't you think? So what's really going on here? And as the article says here, yet the falling away of old friends seems significant, particularly of Edward Lane Fox. The pair was said to have been genuinely close, with Edward Lane Fox being the bridge between his new life in America and his old life in the UK. What's more, these departures come amid reports that those that are still involved in the Invictus Games are essentially saying that they want Hazer out at this point, right? Something that I reported on this channel over the last couple of weeks. The reason why they want him out is because they see him now as toxic. After all, the attacks that he's done towards the royal family and the British public and whatnot, and his association now with Mexi, he's just as toxic and they don't want anything to do with that anymore. I don't freaking blame him. A turret. One source turning around and saying, quote, It seems it's hard to convince people that you're philanthropic, boss for good, and when there are so many unresolved issues with your own family who've accused you've accused of being racist and uncaring. And so following Hazard's public attacks on the royal family, it does seem very, very doubtful that any members of the royal family will want to attend the next Invictus Games that's supposedly going to be happening in Birmingham in 2027. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be cancelled. Our country is in no fit state at the moment to be able to hold any kind of international games in any way, shape, or form. And we certainly don't have the money for it either. That is for freaking damn certain. And so Invictus Chief Executive Rob Owen this week insisted, though, that has us going nowhere. Yeah, you really believe that? So the Invictus Chief says, "We're proud to have the Duke of Sussex as a patron and founder. The spotlight he brings to the community and to our work has changed the perceptions of mental health, of military personnel, and of disability worldwide." Right, let's stop there for a second. Let's just pull the brakes on this runaway train of public relations nonsense, shall we? I mean, are we supposed to just read that and nod along like it makes any sense at all? Let me translate that corporate speak for you. What Rob Owen is really saying is, "Oh my God, the ship is sinking. We've hit an iceberg named Meghan, and I'm rearranging the deck chairs as fast as I can while telling everyone the band is still playing." The spotlight he brings? The spotlight? You mean the toxic, radioactive, family-destroying glare that follows him and his wife everywhere they go? That's the spotlight he's talking about. It used to be a spotlight of respect, of duty, of a prince who had found his calling. Now it's the kind of spotlight they use in prison yards. He changed perceptions of mental health? Yes, he did. He, alongside his master manipulator, turned the noble cause of mental health awareness into a cudgel with which to beat his own family. He made it a weapon, a transactional tool for sympathy and Netflix deals. So yes, perceptions have changed. We now perceive that some people will exploit absolutely anything for personal gain. Thank you for that lesson, Harry. And this whole "their term came to an end" excuse is the most insulting, transparent piece of fiction I have ever heard. These are not just board members. These are not faceless suits who served a 4-year term and decided to move on to the next charity on their list. Edward Lane Fox was his right-hand man, his mentor. This is the man who was there from the genesis of the idea, who helped Harry build this thing from the ground up when Harry was still a respected, beloved member of the royal family. This was his passion project, his legacy. And J.J. Chalmers? A gold medalist, a man who lived and breathed the Invictus spirit, who embodied everything it was supposed to be about. These men don't just walk away because a date on a calendar tells them their term is up. People like that, when they believe in a cause, you have to drag them away from it. They get reelected. They become honorary lifetime members. They stay involved because it is part of their soul. They leave for one reason and one reason only. The soul of the organization has been corrupted. They are fleeing a contaminated environment. And let's not be coy about the name of that contamination, shall we? It has 5 letters and starts with MEGHAN. This is a pattern. It's the same pattern we saw with their staff at Kensington Palace, the turnover, that was so high they must have installed a revolving door at the entrance. It's the same pattern we saw with their friends, one by one, being frozen out and discarded. It's the same pattern we see with any institution or person that they come into contact with. Initial charm and enthusiasm, followed by a slow, creeping takeover, and ending with chaos, division, and a trail of abandoned relationships. Meghan saw the Invictus Games not as a sacred cause for wounded warriors, but as a shiny, prepackaged platform. It had everything she craved: a global stage, a connection to royalty without the pesky rules, and a built-in narrative of compassion and philanthropy. It was the perfect vehicle for Brand Sussex. And Harry, bless his brainwashed cotton socks, just handed her the keys. He was so desperate for her approval, so desperate to prove he could have a life outside the firm that was just as impactful, that he let her turn his greatest achievement into another episode of her tacky reality show. Remember the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf? It was supposed to be about the athletes. It was supposed to be about their grit, their determination, their incredible stories of overcoming adversity. But what did it become? It became the Meghan show. Every day was another calculated costume change, another speech where she somehow managed to make it about herself, another moment for the ever-present Netflix cameras to capture her gazing adoringly at her puppet prince. She treated it like a Hollywood red carpet tour. The veterans, the very heart of the games, were reduced to being extras in her movie. And you could see it on the faces of the organizers, the other attendees. That slight awkwardness, that forced smile. They knew. They all knew this wasn't right. They knew the focus had shifted from the I am of the Invictus Creed to the I am Meghan of her personal brand. And these men who have just quit, they saw it up close. Edward Lane Fox, a man of dignity and military tradition, must have been watching this circus with utter horror. He would have known what the Invictus Games were supposed to be. He was there at the start, to see it hijacked, to see its noble purpose twisted into a PR opportunity for a Z-list actress, must have been more than he could stomach. His departure is the most damning of all. They say he was the bridge back to the UK, the one person who could maybe, just maybe, talk some sense into Harry and begin to heal the rift with his family. Well, that bridge has just been dynamited. And it wasn't King Charles or Prince William who lit the fuse. It was Harry and Meghan. By allowing this to happen, by pushing away the last voices of reason and loyalty from his old life, Harry has chosen his side. He has made it clear that there is no going back. He has torched every last bridge, one by one, until the only person left on his little island of grievance is the very person who handed him the matches and the gasoline in the first place. This isn't just a resignation from a charity board. This is a statement. It's a vote of no confidence from the man who knew him best in that world. It's Edward Lane Fox saying, I'm out. I cannot be associated with this anymore. The man I knew and mentored is gone, and I don't recognize what this has become. That is devastating. And the fact that they tried to bury this news, that it happened in February and is only coming out now, tells you everything you need to know. They knew how bad it would look. They tried to hide the fact that the rats are not just leaving the sinking ship, they are practically swan diving off the deck. And what about this claim that the charity is in good health, with an income of £3.8 million? Oh, that's lovely. But you know what? A charity's health isn't just measured on a balance sheet. It's measured by its integrity. It's measured by its reputation. It's measured by its soul. And the soul of the Invictus Games is being systematically ripped out. What good is £3.8 million if your founder is now considered toxic? What good is that money when the royal family, the very institution that gave the Games their initial gravitas and global standing, will now likely never attend again? Who in their right mind thinks Prince William and our beautiful Catherine would ever share a stage with them again, after everything they've said and done? Do you honestly think King Charles and Queen Camilla are going to pop over to Birmingham in 2027 to smile and wave next to the son who publicly accused them of racism and neglect? It's a fantasy. The Birmingham Games, if they even happen, will be a hollowed-out shell of their former glory. They will be a royal-free zone. The Sussex show live in the Midlands, and I suspect the British public, who have a very long memory and a very strong sense of fairness, will not be rushing to buy tickets. This whole situation is a tragedy, a genuine, heartbreaking tragedy. Because the Invictus Games were a brilliant idea. They were Harry's one, truly great, undeniably positive contribution. It was something that was uniquely his, born from his own experiences as a soldier. It did so much good. It changed so many lives. It gave hope and purpose to men and women who had sacrificed so much, and he has allowed it to be tainted. He has stood by, a willing accomplice, while his wife has draped her own ambitions all over it like a cheap coat. He has swapped the respect of his military comrades for the fleeting approval of Hollywood sycophants. He has traded men of substance like Edward Lane Fox and J.J. Chalmers for the likes of Tyler Perry and Ellen DeGeneres. What a terrible, terrible bargain. You have to wonder if he ever has a moment of clarity. A moment in the middle of the night in that soulless Montecito mansion where he wakes up and thinks, what have I done? He's lost his family. He's lost his country. He's lost the respect of the military community he once cherished. And now he's losing his legacy. The one thing that was supposed to be his is crumbling, because the people of Principle who helped him build it can no longer stomach being around him and the chaos agent he married. They are leaving. They are walking away. And all that will be left is Harry, Meghan, and the Netflix cameras, standing in the ruins of something that was once so magnificent. And the INVICTUS CEO can issue all the platitude-filled statements he wants. He can talk about spotlights and changing perceptions until he's blue in the face. But we see the truth. We see the exodus. We see the rot that has set in. This isn't a natural transition. This is an evacuation. And it's a shocking, dramatic, and utterly predictable consequence of letting a narcissistic Z-lister get her claws into something so pure and so important. It breaks my heart for the veterans. It truly does. They deserve so much better than this. They deserve to have their games back, free from the drama and the toxicity of the Sussex soap opera. What do you guys think? Am I wrong here? Is it really just a coincidence that three of Harry's staunchest, longest-serving allies all decided their terms were up in the space of a few months? Or is this a sign of something much, much deeper? A sign that the INVICTUS ship is taking on water, and the most honorable men are getting to the lifeboats first. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I read every single one, as you know. This is a conversation, and I want to know what this incredible community thinks about this latest chapter in the saga. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with anyone who needs to hear the truth, and of course, subscribe for more. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta. And bye for now.